Good afternoon from Derby's Fair. I'm Eleanor Crone.
And I'm Ben Waldron. Tonight's main headlines: one of Derby's oldest and most famous pubs faces closure after a brewery places it up for sale.
Stallholders fight against Derby City Council plans to reduce the budget for the indoor market hall.
And sudden changes to the city's bus schedules have caused panic amongst Derby's public transport commuters.
The Great British pubs have been closing at an alarming rate since the 1980s.
Derby has taken the latest hit after another pub on the famous Mile Strip gets put up for sale. Josh Hasbury reports.
The Mile, a pub that was once a major stop on the old pub crawl on Ashbourne Road, is now the latest one to face closure. It was this street where hundreds would gather at night to have a drink with friends. But now, all that action has moved to the city centre. I spoke to the landlady, Tracy Johnson.
I think it's wrong that so many pubs are closing, but then I think personally, give it 15, 20 years and all pubs, as in proper pubs as I call them, they won't exist. It'd just be food orientated. There would be somewhere where the lads would go and play dominoes, dance, pool. It'd just be food places.
The Mile Strip on Ashbourne Road was once famous for its bustling nightlife. However, since the recession has hit, the pubs have slowly been closing one by one. The Mile looks to be the latest victim of this crisis, seeing as it has been put up for sale by its owners.
It doesn't surprise me because the pubs have suffered in the recession, and it wasn't so long ago that the duty on alcoholic drinks was risen.
People can't afford to go in them, can they? It's happening all around. It's just that the Mile has its history, and that will totally disappear eventually, I suppose.
Back in 1982, there were over 67,000 pubs in the UK, and since then, nearly 20,000 have closed. The Mile Strip itself used to contain 17 pubs. Now, there are only 7 left open. I also spoke to some of the pub's locals in order to get their take on the ordeal.
It is cheaper for me, literally, to go to Sainsbury's and get a bottle of Newcastle Brown. I think they're selling it for £1.25 than to drink it in here. And I'd rather have the social life of drinking in a local pub with my friend.
Yeah, and I think that's what like it's about. It's social. You know what I mean? You come out and you're in a pub and you're speaking to people, yeah, rather than sitting in your house with a tin of beer.
The strip varied for each individual and everybody argued about the actual route, but everyone agrees on how good it really was. It didn't matter who you went with, or even if you went alone, you'd still end up with a night you'd forget them.
This just in, a stretch of Burton Road in Derby has been closed as a man was found in the road in the early hours of the morning. Police have confirmed that the man has been taken to Queen's Medical Centre in Nottingham, where he remains in a serious condition.
And in other news, the Derby Market Hall has been running for around 200 years, and some stalls have been there the whole time.
It's safe to say that the stall owners are not happy after the council have been trying to close them down. Owen Burt reports.
Derby's Eagle Market has been here since the 1800s, but due to recent budget cuts, the council have threatened to close it down. I spoke to some other business owners and found out what their thoughts were to this.
Some areas of the marketplace are not at all appealing and certainly need addressing by the council. I spoke to Mary, an events organiser, about what her thoughts were on the situation.
I think at the moment the council have realised what an excellent building this is. We haven't got any other markets like this in the country, really. My stall is celebrating its 90th birthday. So yes, I think the council have realised that they've got a lot to do and they're going to go through and make the market viable again.
I then spoke to Katie, who runs an alternative food stall in Derby's Eagle Market. She told me how the council have affected her and also how the Eagle Market is very different to shopping in the normal shops in Derby.
No, there's been some things that have held us back from opening sooner, such as the council taking 6 months to get us into the store. The market hall really excels in having like small independent shops with things that you can't get anywhere else. For example, there's my shop, which you cannot get most of these products in anywhere in Derby. Or there's the French stall over the other side. There's a very, very good artisan beer shop.
The market florist, Laundry Liza, told me where she thinks the market stands in comparison to the city's biggest shopping centre, Into.
My personal opinion is if you want to be served by a grumpy sales assistant, go into because we're happy down here. So the council have decided that, you know, after a few years having consultations with this bloke and that company and this bloke, that we're all right. We're actually an enhancement to Derby Market, to the whole of Derby city centre, as opposed to Into.
So, after multiple campaigns and meetings, it seems that Derby's Eagle Market will stay open after all. Owen Burt, reporting.
And thanks for that, Owen. Arriva have been challenged after making changes to bus timetables.
The alterations were made following consultation from the public. However, the changes have in fact caused chaos for Derby travellers. Jenny Gallagher reports.
Bus giant Arriva has come under fire recently after changes to the timetable. These changes have been implemented following a public consultation, but unfortunately, these changes have caused chaos in Derby city centre. Due to these changes, more and more buses now operate from the city centre, a street that is already overcrowded with very little shelter.
The city centres have been hectic since changes.
And it's not only Arriva passengers who are having problems. Sahil Yadav, who works at Victoria Street convenience store, says,
people are not coming into the shop because they do not want to push past the crowd.
Rather than operating every 15 minutes, buses now come and go every half an hour.
I've been late to uni a few times. It's been a bit of a pain really, and it's just not on.
Been running late to work quite often.
Fed up, Derby travellers have opted for alternative transport.
Yeah, I was just about to get a taxi right now. It's taking the mick a bit. Yeah.
Labour City Councillor Mark Titley is unavailable to comment on camera, but off camera he has said,
we're currently working alongside Arriva to find an appropriate solution to this inconvenience. It's an important issue to rectify.
Simon Mathieson, Area Director of Arriva, tells me,
I have serious concerns about people in Pride Park being late for work.
Arriva is hopeful that the proper amendments will have been made to the timetables by February. Jenny Gilher.
And in sport, Derby Rugby Club's new Return to Rugby scheme has become one of the top projects of its kind.
Having seen such a vast amount of success since it began, the club have decided to keep it on until the end of the season. John Day reports.
The Rugby World Cup may be long gone, but here in Derby, more and more people are joining the game thanks to a new programme being funded by the RFU.
Derby Rugby Club is one of 50 teams across the country to take part in the Return to Rugby initiative. Headed up by former England international Lewis Moody, it is designed to bring players back to the game who left due to injury or work.
Here in Derby, it has been so successful that over 50 new members have joined since the programme started on September 21st of this year. And after weeks of training, the Return to Rugby team finally played their first game this Friday against the University of Derby at the Kendleston Road campus, winning 36-32. Speaking to the coach John Wellham after the game, he told me his players had played better than he had expected.
We're into our 11th week now. Next Monday will be the 12th and final session. However, because of the success of the scheme, we've decided to carry on right the way through to the end of the season.
This view was also shared by many others playing in the Friday game, with many praising the programme.
I used to play for Derby Uni a couple of years ago, and I really enjoyed it. Then during the end of my studies I had to have surgery, which took me out for a while and I wasn't able to play again. Every season starts, if there's an opportunity for other people to get involved, it'd be great for them just to think about it, even if they've not played before, if it's something new to them.
Oh, I think this is excellent. I think you've got to start at the bottom and work your way up. It's all about the grassroots rugby.
It gives people a chance who used to play rugby back in the day to get back into the sport, and the sport's good, and they can teach us a lot as well.
With more and more people join the game, there may be hope that the next World Cup, England may make the knockouts. John Date reports.
And for those feeling in the festive spirit and are hoping for a bit of snow, here's Kamir Ahmed with the weather.
No snow yet, but we will see a rainy start to this evening with highs of 8 degrees in Derby, Loughborough and Leicester. It is a windy start to the week, but that wind will be heading more toward the northeast as the days continue. Tomorrow the rainy days will continue across much of the East Midlands, with temperatures slowly rising to 10 degrees by tomorrow evening. The wind is getting pushed out of the Midlands at a steady 5 miles per hour.
Looks like I'll have to be buying myself a new umbrella.
Me too, I think. Thank you for that, Kabir. That's all from us tonight on Derby Sphere. Good night.
Good night.